Greetings and welcome back to Galley of the Sun. Today, a very rare type of episode. Today, we're going to cook fish. Yep, Greg's off in St. Louis, so we've determined that, the 600-mile difference is probably enough. He won't smell it when we're cooking it. So we've talked, what we're making today is cod and guajillo sauce. We have talked at length in previous episodes about the wonders of the Guajillo chili. Absolutely gives amazing flavors. What we certainly have not talked about is cod. Cod is a very popular fish because it's very mild, it's dense, and it's flaky. It has been a staple since back in 800 AD with the Vikings used to carry salt cod with them on their voyages. In fact, as recently as last century, there was cod wars, Iceland versus Great Britain. Now, it wasn't a real war as you think about it with military action going on back and forth. There was one fatality, an Icelandic engineer, but there was a lot of tense times. There was British naval vessels escorting their fishing boats, the Iceland Coast Guard trying to chase away the British boats. The state of Massachusetts early on depended so heavily on the cod trade. In their House of Representatives is a wooden plaque of a cod, the sacred cod of Massachusetts. So today's recipe, unlike a lot of ours, goes together pretty quick, but like a lot of ours, takes a lot of ingredients. Now, all the ingredients and the amounts are down below in the description. When I cook, I do my best not to say the amounts of the ingredients unless I'm 100% sure, because I don't want to jack you up. You're always safe. If you want to recreate this, go down in the description. That's the recipe that I used. All right, without further ado, let's get this going. Alrighty, so what we're doing now is I have a saucepan out here. It is dry and it is on medium heat. It's been on medium heat for about 3 to 5 minutes. So what we have here is our Guajillo chilies. We've already destemmed, deseeded, and deveined them. And then we've cut them into about, half-inch squares. We're going to take these and toast them for about 4 to 6 minutes. Then they're going right back in this bowl. So keep an eye on them. It doesn't have to be a super close eye, but you definitely do not want to burn these. These are going to be a huge part of the flavor that is in the sauce. As we're toasting those guajillos, as I was talking earlier, giving you cod facts, here's another very interesting one. Almost every cod piece actually contains no cod. Isn't that strange? Depending on how long it takes your oven to warm up, now is a perfect time to get it preheating to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, my chilies have been toasting for almost 5 minutes. Now we're going to get those back in the bowl. And then in our now empty pan goes a couple tablespoons of veggie oil. We're going to let that heat up until it starts to shimmer. All right, so the oil's shimmering. Now goes in our 2 onions that are diced. We're going to cook those for about 5 minutes until they're soft. So our onions have been cooking for about 5 minutes. They're nice and soft. Now goes in the next batch of ingredients. Our garlic, oregano, cumin seeds, ground cloves, and ground allspice. We're going to stir that together until it gets fragrant, about 30 seconds. Now goes in our masa harina, and we're going to stir that together for about a minute. Now we're going to whisk in our clam juice. And if there are any bits brown to the bottom of the pot, go ahead and get those scraped up. All right, once we're sure we have no lumps, now we're going to add our tomatillos, our cilantro sprigs, and salt and pepper. Going to get all that mixed in, bring this to a simmer so we can soften up those tomatillos. We're also going to add back in our toasted guajillos. So our sauce has been simmering for about 5 minutes or so. Now we're going to transfer it to the Vitamix and mix it all up. All right, before I get to mixing, I'm going to rinse my pot out real quick, because once we get this mixed up, it's going back in this pot, covered and on the stove to stay warm for us. All right, clean pot is ready. Let's get this mixed up. Ooh, that smells good. All right, back in our pot. We're going to cover it, set it aside. Now we shall work on the cod. All right, so we're going to pat our fillets dry before we season them. Then the seasoning for this is pretty simple. A mixture of salt and pepper, and then a little bit of sugar. And remember, you got 2 sides of the fish. Get that all pressed into the first side, flip them, and do the same thing to the second side. Then we'll move on to the next step. Now we're back over at the stove. We're going to take a skillet, get that on medium-high heat. Add a couple tablespoons of veggie oil. Get that to shimmering. All right, we are shimmering. Now we're going to brown the fish about a minute each side. We're not cooking it all the way, we're just getting it browned. Remember, we have that oven preheated to 425. Once we get this browned, we're going to chuck it in the oven for between 7 to 10 minutes. And you're looking for an internal temperature of the fish at about 135 degrees Fahrenheit. As we're waiting for our fish to brown on that first side, you know, if you're liking what you're seeing, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button and never miss an episode. Hey, put down in the comments, what is your favorite fish dish? It'll give us a good idea what to do next time Greg goes out of town. So our cod has been browning on both sides for about a minute, minute and a half. Now into the oven for about 7 to 10 minutes. All right, so for a side dish, I prepared a simple corn, vegetable, bean medley. The cod's done. Got it dressed up with a little bit of cojita cheese and some chopped cilantro. Now it's the moment of the truth. So my lovely assistant Charlotte will come out here and give it a try and deliver you the truth.
Well, that's tasty.
There you go. You make your woman happy, everybody's happy. You should try this. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today.
That's good.
Yeah, I just bought that from the store. I can't take credit for that. All right. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Until we see you next time, fair winds and following seas.